All right, welcome back to All Cars, y'all. I am John. It is time for another Motorweek Retro review reaction. And this week I have chosen the recently released 1991 Subaru Legacy Sport Sedan. And I'm pretty excited about this one because I really like Subarus. Overall, I just like them. They're boring. They very much appeal to the left brain of us. This car was pretty cool. I'm not sure it was better than the Accords, the Camrys, the Maximas, the Stanzas of its time. And as I recall, it had one fatal flaw. But I'm interested to see what Motorweek said about it at the time. So come grab your beverage of choice, sit back in your comfy chair. Let's take a trip down memory lane.
Motorweek is made possible by Lucas Oil, Auto Value and Bumper to Bumper, and TireRack.com.
Subaru has traditionally built quirky but rugged small cars, usually with four-wheel drive. But in the past few years, Subaru's products have begun to compete in the mainstream. They've introduced models that compare with those from Honda, Toyota, and Nissan. The model that stands out the most is the Legacy sedan, a family four-door with lots of room. It blends into the suburban background like no Subaru ever has. But Subaru isn't content to rest there. The Japanese car maker is now offering more power. To accelerate their merge into the mainstream, they've introduced the Subaru Legacy Turbo. The official name for this new turbocharged Subaru is the Legacy Sports Sedan. It's Subaru's shot at the market segment usually dominated by the cars of Europe. To attract buyers who normally wouldn't consider a sensible family car like the Legacy, the sports sedan gets a selection of special styling features. Starting at ground level, it wears 15-inch alloy wheels with high-performance rubber. At the tail, there is a wing for the rear deck. And up front is a deeper chin spoiler and a functional hood scoop. It feeds in.
Whoa, let's stop it there before they go to the motor. Extremely generic looking vehicle. Let's go back a little bit. The rear, I actually think it's super attractive. I like the lights and the light bar across the trunk. I like the little spoiler. The overall profile is just generic Japanese, honestly. And the front, honestly, this could be a Toyota or a Geo or pretty much anything else. It doesn't stand out. And like they said, it kind of fades into the background like no Subaru before. It wasn't quirky from that perspective. I think it's handsome though. And in 1991, if you're looking at something that's not a Acura or an Infiniti, you know, you're looking for something generic. This is a really good option. I think it's a comfortable, reliable option. Not outstanding in a lot of ways and a little generic looking, but I like that. This is something you could drive for many years and be content with it. There's one styling choice I really don't like, and that is, it's not shown here, but you saw it earlier, the hood line runs up and then it drops down to go to the door line. I don't love that, but minor thing.
It feeds air to this 2.2-liter turbocharged flat-4 engine. With 16 valves and a single overhead cam, it makes 160 horsepower and 181 pound-feet of torque. That launches the sports sedan to 60 in 8 seconds flat. The quarter mile takes 16.1 seconds at 86 miles per hour, easily outrunning the standard Legacy. But then the sports sedan is quite a different car. Its standard 5-speed gearbox has been beefed up to handle the turbo's extra torque. But while offering a set of tight, quick ratios, it has a rather rubbery-feeling shifter. Fortunately, the turbo engine is strong and smooth with minimal lag.
So well, they went over that very, very quickly. That acceleration time, honestly, I just did recently the BMW 735i, and that was quicker than the BMW. Now, granted, that's a much bigger car, much heavier, but that's really good numbers. Surprisingly good. Wow. Just wow. That's my comment.
So that the sports sedan runs like a rabbit, slow shifter or not. Cornering is aided by a Subaru full-time four-wheel drive system that uses a viscous center and rear differential and a firmer suspension. It makes the Legacy feel more like the European cars it aspires to beat. Sports sedans with an automatic transmission get a different electronically controlled all-wheel drive system that distributes power similar to the Mercedes 4MATIC system. In hard cornering, front plow is minimal right up to the limit, where it breaks into smooth, controllable rear-wheel oversteer. The power steering is quick and offers good feedback, though you can outrun the steering pump. Four-wheel disc with ABS are standard in the sports sedan and stop it from 60 in an average distance of 112 feet.
So, watching it through the slalom, it really emphasizes, it does lean a little bit more than I expected, although they didn't say anything about that. It handles well, it grips well. It emphasizes how generic this car looks. It's a little bit of a shame. Subaru went from quirky and building a following, and they tried to compete with the Hondas, the Nissans, and the Toyotas in the mainstream, and they kind of got killed until they went back and leaned into their strengths of all-wheel drive and things like that. And this was an attempt to compete directly with what else was out there. Unfortunately, it's when you think about Japanese cars looking the same and you think about them looking generic, this kind of almost personifies it. This could be almost anything, but it's a Subaru. But it looked really good. It gripped good. The braking was very solid. I've said many times on this channel, 115, if you watch enough of these, 115 kind of becomes the magic number. This was at 112. That's really, really good. This is a really, really good performer. Nicely done.
Pedal pulsation is heavy, but all stops were straight and smooth. These are brakes as good as anything from BMW. Highway ride is also smooth. The Legacy Sports Sedan's fuel mileage is EPA rated at 19 city, 25 highway. We average 21 miles per gallon. While this hot Legacy may be able to go, stop, and handle like a German car, drivers looking for a European environment may be disappointed by the interior. There's nothing wrong with it. It's clean and efficient, but it lacks that continental style that one finds in even the cheapest BMW.
And yeah, wow, boring. That's the word. There's apparently two materials on the dash. There's the gray plastic and the darker plastic, and that's it. It's okay. You know, I like the huge eyebrow, big vents, molded one piece, less squeaks, easier to install. But the fact that it's so vertical, it doesn't tilt a little bit, right, to make things a little easier for you. A little underwhelming. It's functional, it's ergonomic, it's not stylish. That's not what they were going for. Like they said, there's nothing wrong with it. It lacks something. It's just all right. I don't see this as an interior that if you were cross-shopping multiple vehicles, you get in this and be like, wow, this is it. It's still very, very much a left-brained interior.
On the other hand, it has more standard equipment than most competitors. It offers a set of firm, supportive, cloth-covered sports seats with both height and lumbar adjustments and a tilt wheel. Gauges are large and clean, if incomplete. Ventilation is controlled by a well-marked series of buttons and switches. Air conditioning is standard, as is the 80-watt AM/FM cassette stereo. It has a crisp sound and easy-to-use controls. Rear seat room is quite good. The standard power moonroof steals a bit of headroom, but most adults should be comfortable. Price-wise, the Subaru Legacy Sports Sedan will set you back $18,899. That's very close to the price of BMW's 318i. And what?
No, let's stop that right there. So, generic interior, generic profile, generic everything. Good performer. I kind of like the interior. Again, I come from an engineering background, so this really appeals to me of hitting all the buttons, really. But when they say that price approaches BMW, the left brain still wants the Subaru because it's probably going to be more reliable and a longer term investment. But you could drive a BMW every day. That's a hard sell. That is really a hard sell.
While the Legacy sports sedan doesn't offer the prestige of the Beamer, it will match the German car for driving fun. The Subaru Legacy sports sedan is a strong and ambitious step forward for a company that most enthusiasts long ago dismissed as too weird to bother with, and if given a fair chance to impress, could end up in quite a few of those same enthusiast garages.
Okay, short but interesting. You know, that car really looks like it could be almost anything. It looks like it could be a Corolla. It looks like it could be an Accord. It looks like it could be, honestly, I saw a touch of Mitsubishi in there myself. The numbers are solid. They didn't talk about pricing. Very, very short review. I have trouble thinking I would choose one in 1991 with the excellent Accord and the Camry and even the Galant from Mitsubishi. This would be a hard sell. It is a very left-brained car. The controls are functional. It works well. It's going to be reliable. You can get all-wheel drive, so it's going to be great in the snow. Very, very rational choice. And even if it performs as well as that BMW, it lacks the passion of the BMW. I think that these would last longer than the BMW if they were cared for. But overall, I like it. I kind of like it. The front seat, the dash, the rear seat, everything about it I kind of like. But there's nothing there that says, buy me. It doesn't look better inside or outside than some of its contemporaries in the Accord, Stanza, Camry realm. And even if it performs as well as a BMW, nobody's going to really cross-shop this with a BMW 3 Series unless it's purely reliability issues. Interesting car. Another one I would like to drive, because I said at the beginning I thought these had a single fatal flaw, and they didn't really say much about it except for one little comment, and that is that BMWs in the 80s and I think into the 90s, their steering was haphazard. It was very, very loose, very overboosted. And I thought they'd say something about that. The earlier Subarus were just, there was no feel at all. There was no sportiness to it. I know they worked on it. They improved it. They said here that through the slalom that you could overrun the boost. But they didn't really talk about how numb it was. And that's one of my overwhelming memories of Subarus of this era. So let me know what you think below. Leave me a comment. I appreciate you being here. Thank you much.